Hey guys, sorry I was gone for a while. I was doing competition and then I got sick. If you can't tell my voice just a little bit. But we'll hopefully be running back to schedule, normal schedule. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. Why is it that I feel such discomfort? Muzan continued to the question, the thread that had spoken hanging thin between him and Yin as they faced each other. Why is that? How should I know? I don't read minds like you. Well, I guess his ability only extends to demons under his control. But still, why rip out my tongue? She could tell that her face was clearly showing the conflicting emotions that she was feeling inside by the way the progretter searched her expression. Finally, he let go of her chin and walked a few paces away, his back turned to her so that she was unable to see him. It was puzzling to him, as he wanted so badly to make do on his threats to her for speaking of the demon slaying course. But a part of him refused. It soured his mood intently. I want you to know that from here on, Kokushibo will be the one overlooking your training, he announced whilst making sure not to face her, something that wasn't the only thing that surprised her in the moment. It seems that I have forgotten some much-needed work that needs to be completed, and it seems that I need to stay away from you. Huh? What the? It is decided. Muzan stated as he flicked his hori behind his shoulder as he moved to stalk out of the space. I will inform Kokushibo immediately. Return to your room. He will be by later to escort you back to continue your fight with Gyokyo. And with that, he was gone. Before Yin could even begin to question what had made Muzan act so strangely, the floor shifted beneath her, and she was once again thrown roughly into her room. Her back still aching from last time, she was sent back via Nakime's biwa. Scowling at his improperness decision that he forced her on. She then released a breath and decided that it was not worth getting upset over. If anything, she was grateful because it gave her some time to strategize and rest before head-to-head combat with Gyokyo again. While she wasn't afraid, she was worried about how long trying to overcome his strength would be. She didn't want it to take her years to beat the upper moons, because as soon as she turned into a demon, she would stop aging immediately, and therefore, when returning back to the original world, she wouldn't be the same. If it indeed took her years to overcome the upper moons, she'd be older, something her family wouldn't understand if she returned at the exact moment she left. Yin winced when immediately realizing the outcome. Forced out of her home, forced to work, forced to sever ties with family and friends. She is a stranger to them. A stranger that would only hurt them more by claiming to be their friend or family member. So I can't hesitate. Even though I hate the thought of ever becoming a demon and therefore being under Muzan's thumb, I have to. If I want to return, I have to. Setting a resolve, Yin thought back to her recent scrimmage with Gyokyo. Knowing that he only used 2 of his many attacks, that wasn't even the scope of his true power. Unfortunately, unlike Tokido, who wielded a sword and could deflect his assailants, she had nothing. So just how do I win? As the thought ran through her mind, her irritation grew when realizing how little she actually remembered and knew of Gyokyo and his attacks or his range. Still mentally and physically preparing herself for the next fight, however, she then went so far to make some sort of plan on how to escape each one of his techniques. The only attack she couldn't figure out was how to evade the very last attack he used on her, the 10,000 sleeting slime fish. There's so many fish, all poisonous, and they'll consume me if I let my guard down. Biting the nail of her thumb and increasing worry and irritation, Yin knew that if she didn't find some way to deal with it, Gyokyo would quickly catch on that it was the most effective way to neutralize her. After that, the situation would only spiral from there, since she'd most likely just keep dying. That would suck ass. I mean, when I first generated, I thought I'd be fine, but being around demons who constantly crave death is a lot, especially since a bit ago I was normal and this was all made up. Now I think about it, how long have I been trapped here? It honestly seems like I've been here for a while, but what if it's been days, weeks, months? With her word doubling, Yin fell into a fitful and restless sleep, continuously tossing and turning throughout the extended period of time that she was granted to be alone. Her body curled in on itself, her eyes squeezing tightly shut as if she was having a nightmare, and a cold sweat then started to build on her brow. It was unusual, but she felt as if the more time she spent in the Infinity Fortress, the more it seemed that she was losing her grip on herself, on her mind, her sanity. Finally, when waking back up after a flurry of bad dreams, she was startled when the door of her room slid open and an imposing figure stood in the doorway. It didn't take her long to realize that it was Kokushibo, there to fulfill his duties that had been placed upon him by his master. "Let's go, human." His voice, his 6 eyes staring down at her with cold front. "The time for your next training session has begun." It's time for a Toagawa era secret. Muzan knows that Yin is changing him, and knows that to stop said changes, he needs to be apart from her for quite some time. Yin has no way of knowing how to get home, when she'll get home, or anything, so she places all her hopes on theories she can come up with. Kokushibo wasn't necessarily displeased when overhearing that he'd be overseeing Yin's training sessions. However, he still held a bit of malice due to her and their last interaction. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. And just to be frank, yes, these will continue on going on schedule from now on. But anyways, until then, I love you all so much. Bye. Mwah.